Hi there, welcome to Bella's Vistas. Thanks for visiting. Please like and subscribe. We left Peely and now we're in Rondeau Park. We're just walking along the path here. We spent quite a while here. It took about 4 or 5 hikes. Pretty amazing. We didn't see nearly as much wildlife as we hoped for, but we did see some. We're just strolling along here down to the waterfront. There's lots of bug action, that's for sure. What are you going to expect when you're near the water and there's plants? You're going to have mosquitoes, so it's just something you have to deal with. I'm out with my Olympus, and I've got the 300mm lens on with the 2x adapter. Just looking down the beach here. Pretty uneventful. We were in Ipperwash for the sunsets, and the beach there, it's the same. You look out, it's water, different driftwood, that's about all. But it's wonderful to be in places like this for sunsets. Can't be sunset all the time though. We gotta put in the time through the day. We saw lots of interesting things. I saw some birds that I didn't know the names of. Saw a little turtle and butterfly, and it was just great. Here we are back in the woods again. I'm looking around. I'm constantly looking for any birds that I might see. Now you can hear them chirping a lot, but trying to find them, that's a different story. There's lots of ground cover here. I find these plants pretty unusual. I don't really know what they are. I've run into giant hogwort once or twice, and I really watch out for that, believe me, after the first. Oh, there's a robin. It's only a robin, but still, it's a pretty little bird. I mean, there's a dove. There's the butterfly, wow. Just for an instant, popped on the branch just ahead of me. And this little turtle, we gave him a little lift across the road in the direction he was headed in. Almost looks like a pet type of turtle. I don't really know what kind it is. I'm looking at these round rings on the leaves, and I'm thinking that must be from the sun burning through the water drops or something like that, acting like a lens. Here we've got some trilliums, pretty. They're an Ontario flower. Oh, there we go, yellow warbler, I believe. Very hard to get a picture of. Just looked at me for an instant. It's difficult when there's branches crossing their face. Here's the red-winged blackbird, ever present. They're very shy too. This bird evades me. I don't remember the name of it, but it's very pretty. There's like a marsh here, and I believe there's like an abandoned beaver dam in the background. Now you can hear Bella huffing and puffing along here. She pants a lot. She's really happy when she's outside. And between being so happy and being a bit warm, she tends to pant a lot. There's some trees tipped over and things like that. This was quite an eventful trip. We went through some different weather situations, to be sure. When we were in Rondeau Park, it was pretty normal. It wasn't anything special, and Peely was uneventful as well. Things didn't really heat up until we got closer to home, but that's another story we'll get into in a bit. Just looking along here, there's some birds in the shrubs here, and I was trying to find them. Didn't have very much luck, really. Meanwhile, I'm looking at all these boardwalks, and I'm thinking about all the work that went into building them, and looks like they might need clean up and painting a bit in the future. I don't know if there's money and energy to keep building things like that. It's very nice to be able to walk on a boardwalk through here, because you'd be up to your knees in mud otherwise. And how else would you see the birds in the marshes and wildlife? I'm so very grateful to be able to travel around like this. There's the Beaver Lodge. Wow, look at that. I'm sure that must be a Beaver Lodge. Maybe it's abandoned, but I'm sure that's what it was. I think the beaver's like a little better water, like more of a moving water than this, really. I don't know. We see a lot of beavers in Kitchener, and we keep track of them, take lots of videos and photographs of them. Here we go. Back on the trail again. We're off the boardwalk now, and there's some trilliums. They told me in Temagami, the government forestry guys, that there's more life in a dead tree than there is in a living tree, because the tree breaks down and little insects live in there, and it keeps the ecosystem going, and then eventually the logs break right down and they form back into the soil, and you wind up with a good fertile soil to keep the new trees growing. So it's a never-ending cycle of life. We got some people coming along. There's a yellow warbler. That must be what I was looking for. I find that when I'm out looking for birds, I'll see some other people looking at a bird, and that's how I find a lot of them. Sometimes people see me, like once I was in Rondeau Park and I spotted the peregrine falcon before anybody else did. That was a great day. I don't know what bird this is, but it posed for a few nice shots. This is what I like to see when the bird's on a bit of a stump with a nice background in behind. It makes a kind of a pretty portrait of the bird. The birds will dive down, get in the water, and then they get up on the branch and start drying their feathers and rearranging everything. There was lots of really nice flowers and blooms and things like that. Wow, here's a little, that would be a barn swallow, I'm thinking, because of the tuxedo tail that it has. They're very colorful. Their feathers are like iridescent when the sun shines on them. It's eating a bug there. They really fly around. They're so fast it's hard to get a picture of them. Now we're in Port Dover, watching one of the yachts go across. See what I mean? And you can't really tell where you are when you're looking out at the shore. It's pretty much the same unless it's at night and you can see the stars. Really nice to be here. You can see a little bit of wind. You notice the wind in the trees? That was sort of an omen of what's going to be coming up. I like to camp out in Port Dover. There's a seagull. There's lots of them here. I've seen lots of different birds here. I've seen kingfisher and a lot of seagulls, some different kinds of ducks, McCann's or duck. These guys are just your garden variety. These are Canada geese bobbing around on the water. Nothing really special, but they're fun to watch too. Now we decided instead of getting the Port Dover fish and chips, we'd buy some fish and barbecue it right by the lake. And that was really good. I mean, it's kind of nice just to go downtown and grab fish and chips, and you don't have any dishes to do or anything, but I like cooking up ourselves. This is across the water. The sun's going down now. End of a perfect day. Beautiful evening. It gets nice and cool. There's the moon on the water. Such a nice night. When I park this way, there's a nice side breeze through the van, keeps you nice and cool. Great bunch of people in Port Dover too. I really like it there. This was the morning. This is Saturday morning, the morning of the big storm. Just look at those clouds. Wow. Now we're in air, and I was photographing this mushroom. We went down to the river where the eagle nest is, and we decided to take a few pictures. This was so quiet, there weren't very many birds here. These are the cliff swallows in air. They have a bit shorter tail than the barn swallows. And here they are flying back and forth to their nests. Really something to see. They fly in. Sometimes they just go in a little ways in this rock, and sometimes they burrow deeper in the sand than other times. Some of them have a really shallow nest that they can't really get into, and some of them have deeper nests. I don't know why that is, if it takes them a season or two to make them deeper. Some graffiti carved on the rocks there. I hate that, but you can see the birds flying in and out. Never stop, because they live on little mosquitoes and flies and things, and you get a tremendous amount of them to feed their young birds and everything. So they're in catching a mosquito or a fly, and then they're back again, back and forth all day long. Huge job for them to look after their young ones. So much fun to watch. The wind came up and the rain came, so we decided we had to leave there and head for home. We ran to the van, and really a hailstorm and trees blowing. A big tree blew past Mary when she was headed for the van. Huge trees were split in half and ripped out by the roots. It was just amazing. We heard 130-kilometer-an-hour winds. You can see some rubble and things at the side of the road where it's all blowing around. Where that is. That's in our backyard. Well, we're back in our own backyard again. Thanks for visiting Bella's Vistas. Please like, subscribe, and come on back again real soon.